Some of it is, and I'm not saying it's bad material. It's good material. A lot of it is good
It's just
material.
not specific.
But they don't drill down. So when you go through the Success Mastery course in GIN, which is, again, we have two core trainings, the Success Mastery course and the Science of Personal Mastery course. I've had people who've gone through every one of Joe Dispenza and Tony Robbins and Bob Proctor's seminars. And I said, go through the Science of Personal Mastery course. Just go through a few lessons and let me know what you think. And they go, I haven't heard this anywhere. I've read 500 books. I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on training with these other success gurus. I've watched all these videos on YouTube. How come no one's talking about this? And the answer is they don't know this. They know about success, but they don't know really how the mind works. They don't know the mechanics of the mind because they haven't actually seen the mind. They haven't been trained to go into a certain area where you can actually see the mechanics of how the mind works. So when we teach the people how to become successful, we're teaching you how to train and use your mind, not your brain, your mind. You can say it's the brain and they're the same, but they're technically different. But we train you because it's the same training that I got in the Brotherhood. This is really secret esoteric training, but some of it is just some basic success principles. So we have a combination of real life how-to success principles, what to do. How do you set a to-do list? How do you set a goal and objective and achieve it? How specifically do you overcome adversity? There's some technical things you need to know. But what about how to focus? How to shut off your mind? You know that little voice in your head that's always talking to you? How do you shut that off? Most people have no idea. They talk about, oh yeah, you have this mind. They'll say, quiet the mind. Great. How do I quiet the mind? Well, they don't know how. The great book by Dr. Maxwell Maltz called Psycho-Cybernetics talked about self-image. You have to have an image of yourself congruent with and in alignment with who you want to become. If you want to become successful, then you have to have an image of yourself as that successful person. And he talks at length about the power of self-image. But he doesn't tell you how to change the image you have of yourself. In the Science of Personal Mastery course, there's 15 lessons that you go through in a row, which are the absolute perfect technical way to change that self-image.
And where did that information come from that is sort of proprietary, if you will, to GIN? Where did you get that information?
I learned it when I was inducted into the Brotherhood back in 1969. When I was brought into the Brotherhood, I went through their training. And their training was secret. It was for members only. So I learned all this information. I didn't invent it. And what I've done with the guidance and with the encouragement of the other members of the GIN Council, who are members of some of these groups as well, was to codify it and actually write it down. At one of our last events, I actually took some of the original manuals that I had written from the Brotherhood, and I read a few paragraphs. And you could hear a pin drop in the room because I said, I'm going to read the actual manual that I had in the early 70s on how to use the mind and contract energy and focus the thought on a narrow beam. And I read this, and everyone, I mean, you could have heard a pin drop. Jaws were hitting the ground, eyes were as big as saucers, and they said, we've never heard anything like this in any book on success. So when people start learning this information and then start applying it, the results are spectacular. And here's what the results are. People start making more money faster, generally. Their health generally improves. Sleep gets better. Energy levels get better. But more importantly, their sense of power and purpose, their happiness goes up. What occurs when you go through our training is the things in your mind that gets triggered. You know, somebody says, he really pushes my buttons.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that means somebody else has complete control over you. Something else can happen. Somebody can say something, your spouse, a friend, whatever, and you just get all mad. You have an uncontrollable, irrational emotion. You're not that powerful then, because somebody else can just, you're like a puppet on a string.
Well, there's no getting rid of that completely, though, right?
No, there is.
Okay.
You can, because what causes that? It's an energetic imprint. In ancient Sanskrit, it's called a samskara. In American vernacular, we use the word engram a lot, which was popularized back at the turn of the century. It's an energetic imprint. It's a memory. It's a holographic memory of something where there's emotion attached or encapsulated into it. And it lies dormant in your memory. And when something in the current situation triggers it, that's when you have your button pushed. It gets keyed in. It gets activated. It gets re-stimulated. It comes to surface. And then you have no control. You have an uncontrollable emotion. And many times it's irrational.